Welcome back. Fit for Life, episode 11. Your hosts here, Gary Deagle, Will Shively, and Ben Lingle. Hopefully, Ben is back. Did you walk here, Ben, or did you get your car fixed?
I got that all squared away. Come back just in time for the old Thanksgiving podcast.
Just car can't start. You can't go to work. Now a lot of people listening are mad because they're like, wait a second, going to work is doing a podcast. That's
yeah.
There's a lot.
Hate, that's I set this up, y'all. Like, don't be mad.
We're gonna mark that on your days off. That's one of you used up.
Paid vacation for the podcast. Oh man.
Well, you missed out. We had a good one with Andrew.
Yeah, it seemed that way. I'm already hearing a lot of feedback about how much people really liked him. He was down to earth, and I'm bummed I missed that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing is it's just real, Like he's real. Like I know Andrew. He's lost 125 pounds. I've seen his abs. I've seen him. I've walked with him. I've seen his abs. I've seen it. And it's just real, So that's in people that comes through, and it's exciting for people because they realize, most of the stuff they experience, other people experience, and what's possible. So now today we have no guest. We need to catch up. We have a lot of good questions that we wanted to chop it up with, and we have Thanksgiving tomorrow. So we are going to answer these questions and then prepare ourselves for our favorite. So with that, what are you most looking forward to?
Ooh.
I mean,
like what are we talking? Just food here?
Well, I mean, if for some reason you have a special cocktail, I mean, I won't judge you for liking a cocktail better than pie, but
No, never. No, I'll take food over alcohol any day of the week.
Just one thing, because I know I can name like 5 things, but like what's the one?
That's a laundry list.
Besides the Redskins game.
You're gonna need the 5 things in front of you while you're watching that game.
Yeah. Besides the 4 and 6 Redskins versus the 2 and 8 Giants.
But hey, Costco's got this pumpkin cheesecake going on right now. Pumpkin pie, cheesecake together.
Did you already try it, or is it like
no?
hoping
I'm
a
building
prayer
it up.
and you're
I'm
just
building
ready?
it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm absolutely building it up.
Last year. Or...
I mean, no. This is just something that
Are you starting your own Ben Lingle ritual?
The 2 came together. This could very well be a Ben Lingle ritual where we just take the 2 best things, put them together, try that out. I can't see that going wrong.
I'm right there with you. I enjoy, because Thanksgiving is so similar to my regular nutrition, right? Like meat and
turkey,
sweet potatoes and stuff.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, cool, I'll have some sweet potatoes, light, and turkey meat. But deep down, I'm waiting for that pecan pie,
You guys ready? Cranberry pear cobbler.
Ooh.
It's my number one.
Like that.
You know what? I love pumpkin pie, but my mom makes cranberry pear cobbler, and it might be my favorite dessert of all time. And she only makes it like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's it. So it's like special treat time. So I'm actually most looking forward to that. I could skip everything else and just go straight for that, and I'd be all right.
I thought you were gonna drop it with the just cranberry sauce and just leave us with that.
No.
Like,
Nah.
who are you?
No, sir.
So you know what always happens to me, which won't happen since we won't be like at home with family for Thanksgiving, is you plan it out and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna have like a piece of this pie, a piece of that pie, but then like grandma always makes like all the cookies, So I'll always be good and pace myself pretty well and then have the pie and then just snack on cookies the rest, and then you get to that fullness where you're just like it's painful,
Yeah, like like I made a mistake fullness.
Yeah.
No,
so
you're right though.
I'm thinking not having the cookies available is gonna leave me in a good spot.
Here's the burning question that I think will never ever be resolved. But in regards to turkey, white meat or dark meat?
So this is where I'm at, and it's funny you asked this. Alexis and I were looking. Obviously, we didn't need a whole turkey for just us, and I prefer chicken thighs, right? So I went ahead and got turkey thighs.
Be careful
but
where you're going here.
I've been looking at them in the fridge, and I think I might actually prefer turkey breast though. And I don't, like, I know I've had like a whole leg of turkey and that's good, but like just looking at the turkey thighs in the package, I'm starting to be like, should I have just gotten like the breast? I think I might prefer turkey breast. And
when's the last time you like just cooked a turkey thigh by itself?
Like never.
So that's your problem because it's the best part of the turkey.
Okay, so see, I'll be able to answer this question after tomorrow is what I'm saying.
But you got to cook it right. If you like butcher it and it's really tough, then it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Then I'll mail it
my
to...
recommendation is this, because like this is one of my favorites, and I know Diego, he's all about turkey thighs too. Cut the bone out, and then season both sides. I use this like dope Italian seasoning that actually just tastes like Thanksgiving seasoning. And then sear it on both sides in a pan, super hot, and then toss it in the oven for like 15, 20 minutes. And it's like the most perfect thing ever. But like that sear is important because I think if you just bake it, it's just not quite the same. So that's my recommendation on a turkey thigh.
We also got drumsticks too, so.
Drumsticks are good, but they got all like the tendons and stuff in them, and they're just I don't know. It's like more work than it's worth.
Yeah, that's no good. When any food you got to struggle like that with is despite how it tastes, just loses it for me.
Yep.
So what about you, Ben? The breast or the thigh?
I mean, I would actually probably 9 times out of 10 go turkey breast. You can put a lot more of that away, I feel like. But this year, I don't know, just turkey thighs are sounding really, really good.
See, there we go. Another convert.
I'm gonna go ahead and admit defeat.
You should try it out, man.
No, I'm gonna have to.
I feel like I'm gonna say this, and you guys might think I'm crazy. I think I said this at the gym we were talking about the other week. Turkey thighs, because like they got a little fat, they got a ton of flavor. They're like the ribeye steak of the poultry world. Like that's where I'm going with it. That's how strongly I feel about it. And you guys know how much I love ribeye.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna kind of expect that experience a little bit, and then
just hyped it up.
That could be a good thing though, because if it meets expectations, my life.
It all depends on how you cook it though.
Is changed.
You guys know I'm particular about cooking my meats, so I got my process for everything.
That sounds good. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Try it out. People should try that out.
Let's dive into some questions here. We got 2 good ones that I really want to dig in with, and then our man T Hartman 757 hit us up with our weekly bro down questions that we gotta slide in.
Bro down is so fun. So
bro down's always fun. So the first one is, what's the ideal number of training days in a week to maximize dim gains but allow for optimal recovery time?
So this is gonna be one of those questions or one of those answers that like nobody wants to hear. So I'll give my take on this, and then we can go round table. But man, I feel like the question answers the question itself. Like, how many training days is optimal for, and how many recovery days? Well, like, you want to train, as hard as you can while still being able to recover fully. So if that means like, and that's going to differ per person. Some people might be 3 days a week and they need that other time to recover. Some people might be 5 days a week, right? They recover really well. They sleep well. They eat well. They have a good muscle mass. But I would say overall, like if we're talking general population, the average person, I would say like 3 to 4 days of like weight training or like, higher intensity stuff per se. And then the other days are just kind of, be active, but don't stress yourself out over stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough question. And really, like you said, it kind of comes down to like the old bell curve, like, like is the person 18 or 42? Is the person, having proper nutrition and sleep? Like those 3 things, what's your nutrition, what's your sleep, what's your age, I think play into this a lot, Yep. And even if say six days is optimal, but you have a job and a family and you literally can't make it to the gym 6 days, then it's not optimal, So and then there's other factors, drugs, are you getting any extra help, things like that. So it's different for natural people. But ultimately, I think a good safe number is 3 to 4 days a week. That way you'll be able to push it. You're not going to get. I know I've done before where I tried to work out 5 or 6 days a week, and I just get burnt out with it. Like I lose the enjoyment. So So I think 3 to 4 is a safe bet. You know, if you're pushing hard, and then on your other days, which he had a second question on top of that, was how many days a week should be active recovery versus basically a complete off day sedentary recovery. What do you think about that, Ben?
Well, I was actually gonna call you a piece of toast because I was about to butter you up.
Jesus.
You've been saving that one.
No, you know what? No, just kidding. So no, but you told me something. Yeah, I mean, years ago that actually stuck with me and kind of answers the question, and it goes along with my personal experience. You look at Olympic runners, sprinters. They go short distances, but need a ton of power. So they'll get basically, point A to point B really quick, powerful. Look at how they look. They're huge. They're muscular. They're that's their body type is always the same. Where those long distance runners, the ones who are, I mean, they're not done in 10 seconds or whatever. They run for a long time. They end up a little bit different body composition wise. When I train 3 days a week, I end up looking more like the sprinter, feeling more like the sprinter, where I got a lot of power real quick and then I'm done. I need a lot of active recovery, from that output. But if I'm training 6 days a week, the intensity has gotta be down. Otherwise, I'd burn out just like you. But I actually lean out a little bit more, less muscle mass, and then it's tougher to maintain that metabolism. So that's kind of been my personal experience with with how many days to train, right or wrong. It really depends on what I was after or what I felt like doing.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna chime in one last thing, just because this kind of reminded me of this. If anybody knows who Dorian Yates is, one of the best bodybuilders that ever lived, even being a dude who's like roided up and took a bunch of stuff, he said his best results were like 3 to 4 days a week, and everyone thought he was crazy for it until he showed up like the biggest dude on the stage. He said he recovered way better than the most pro bodybuilders are going to train 6 days a week or whatever, maybe even 7. But yeah, everyone thought he was crazy, but he was the biggest dude out there. So I would say listen to that advice as well.
Yeah, and if you look at the research and science of it, and Eric Helms and all those guys who really dig into that, the science pretty much shows like 4 days a week. There's not a ton of reason to do more unless you're practicing a skill.
Yep.
So for most natural guys, and again, like none of us are like super jacked, and so we might not even be the best people to ask. But if you look around at guys that are, and I know guys that are super huge and muscular. But most of them, 4 days a week seems like a real safe number. Any more than that, like ultimately, I think is diminishing returns.
Yep.
So, and I know for me personally, like I like 3, and every now and then I'll throw a 4th day in of just random stuff, or like some extra arms or shoulders or lateral raises or whatever. And yeah, that works. So, and then for the active recovery, I think that's by feel, because again, there's so many, like active recovery could be going for a walk, and it could also be 45 minutes on the air bike at a heartbeat of 140, right? But obviously the continuous air bike workout is going to be actually still a little tougher than the walk, right? And I think a good way to know is, well, what's your gut telling you? Like, are you excited to go in and do that workout, or are you dreading it? If you're dreading it, you should probably take the day off completely, or just go for a walk to be more sedentary. Kind of use your gut and how you feel to judge whether you're going to do an active recovery day or just a complete off day.
Yep, agree.
But ultimately, like as many as you can. If you're training in the gym hard 3-4 days a week, yeah, and you can do 2 easy active recovery days and 1 off day. That works. So, a lot of it takes time, just to learn your body,
Mm-hmm. I think too, I think we touched on this in like a previous episode, but like I know everyone likes to talk about like, oh, active recovery, like, as it's some specific thing. Like, I think practicing moving as much as you can just throughout your daily life is something people should strive for, rather than just like, oh, well, I have to do active recovery this day. I feel like just movement in general is great active recovery. You're getting the blood moving, you're using all your muscles. So I think that's another thing people just need to maybe think about it in a different way too. Because if you're, training 3 or 4 days a week pretty hard, but you're really active, like you just walk, a lot, or you're up and down, or you're gardening, or whatever, you're just movement. There's movement in your day. Then I feel like you don't really need to stress, all right, well, how many active recovery days do I need? You just it's just kind of what you do. So I think it's another thing people should think about is just move around, do what you can, roll around on the floor.
Yep.
Or if you're not a weirdo, then maybe just go for a walk, because I know we're not the best examples.
We do some things differently.
Yeah. And a lot of it's what's the mental load. Like I've had this talk with Ben before. I went through a stage where I did my lifting days, and I was trying to maximize my conditioning by having very active aerobic cardio days, and was running and doing the air bike and monitoring my heart rate to be in the perfect place, and it was exhausting mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, so then eventually my quote unquote active recovery days was really burning me out over the long run for training in general.
Yep.
And then when I switched to just going for a walk, it's so much more enjoyable. For me, it's an actual break mentally, and that's important too. So.
It does go unnoticed, doesn't it? Where like the stress that we put on our bodies for working out. If you're doing this active recovery, I remember you in that stage. You were you were kind of a beast too, but like that extra thing. Then you got to go to work the next day. Then you have to do all that will accumulate and really take away from you listening to your own body. You just kind of burn yourself to the ground without taking that little bit of break. Your body definitely adapts to what you ask it. So, like Will was saying, just adding little movements, not even really, being too particular about the type of active recovery that you're doing. But if you're moving, and you're at least balancing your sedentary versus active, like decisions, then come Monday when it is gym time and you need to maybe get up a little bit more energy, that movement on Sunday probably didn't hurt you. It probably helped you. The momentum is already there. Your body realizes, oh, I'm an active person. Literally because of the choices you make, it just adapts and says, you know what? I actually would rather move than sit still. Over time, it makes a huge difference.
Yep.
Yeah, and two things I'll close it out with is, and this is a common thing we always say is, and then it comes down to what's your goal? If your goal is health, then versus pure fitness. Yeah, if it's pure fitness, then you're gonna have to do those more active recovery days with your heart rate at a certain amount, right? Like for your sport or for whatever reason you're trying to do this, but that doesn't mean that's the best decision for your health. So, but the best decision for your health might be more sedentary days or just a walk. For your physical and mental health. So it's again knowing that too, is your priority health versus fitness, or is it fitness versus health? So that's important. And then ultimately the overriding thing is sleep. Ultimately, if you whether you're working out 3 or 4 days a week or 5, or if you want to do more, then your sleep should be on point, and that's going to give you better results. And same thing with your recovery. If your sleep is quality, that's a lot of recovery right there. So you'll be able to push harder on your active days and vice versa. So get your sleep. All right. So now we'll move on to some questions we have from some of our clients at the gym, Coastal Strength and Fitness. And these are good ones. A lot of people probably deal with this. The first one is, it starts off, I'm within a couple pounds of my target weight, but still have more than a couple pounds of belly fat. I assume if I stay the course with my paleo eating habits and hit Coastal 3 to 4 times a week, the fat will gradually be replaced with better looking abs. Does that happen in the double ARP age group? I'm at my lowest weight since my preteens, but I still feel pretty flabby in the stomach. All right, and a little back information so y'all know, this lady, she's also petite, so she's short, she's down to 116 pounds. She also went through cancer and all that, so she's had a lot of stress on her body. She is double ARP, so what's that, 50 and over, or 45 and over, or something like that?
50 and over.
50 and over.
Yeah.
So there's that, right? So she's obviously she's at a very low body weight, and the answer is actually quite simple, but most people aren't going to want to hear it. And those factors weighed in. The fact that she is AARP age group and has had some extreme stressful physical and mental situations, it's going to make, that those are factors. So Will, what do you think?
So I think for one, I think there's two routes, really. And I think I'm going to explore each. So you have one option, which is, continue your nutrition how you are now, but have your focus just stay on the strength training and then drop anything high intensity whatsoever. So like no conditioning, you do your strength training. So probably like 3 days of strength training and you walk. And then that way, you're not getting burned out and you can still keep losing weight. Because really the reality is this person will have to just drop calories a little more. And that's just where they're at. So if you're dropping calories, then, doing all that high intensity stuff isn't going to help you. It would probably hurt you.
Because it's just going to drive your appetite up.
Exactly. Yeah, you're placing more demand on your body, but expecting it to give something away as well. So
that's the short term. That's a good short term answer.
Exactly. Yep. So that's for the short term. Long term, my recommendation would be this: is switch your gears a little bit, okay? Because for one, like losing weight's stressful. Period. It's great. It's a good healthy endeavor, I think, if you are overweight. But the fact of the matter is, it's stressful to your body, no matter what. No matter how great you feel, it's still like, it's just stressful. So what I would say is switching your focus from fat loss to trying to build a little more muscle or, just get stronger in general. So not necessarily like putting on a ton of weight, but, upping your calories maybe a little bit. And then having your focus, and even, I would recommend on this, probably taking away the high intensity stuff a little bit and having your whole focus be on doing well in your strength workouts, build some muscle, and then making sure you recover really well. Because, being in the AARP group, like you just, as you get older, your recovery takes a little bit longer. And that's just, that's a fact of life. But if you can, add some more muscle, then, after you're done with that, so maybe a couple months, it could be 3 months, could be 6 months of really just trying to get strong and put on a little muscle, your metabolic furnace, because of all that muscle, is going to be burning a lot hotter. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to get leaner and still, be able to eat enough food and eventually, start cutting down that belly fat too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we see this all the time. We've even talked about it, how, no one wants to hear this, but actually most people, especially if you did not like work out when you were younger or play sports, you're actually better off not losing a ton of weight in the beginning and focusing on building muscle. Like that's going to help you in the long run, because having that muscle is just, it's ideal. It's the way, like you said, you'll have a higher metabolic rate.
If you know me, I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out. If you know me, I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop, mixed in water, once a day, and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
You'll look a lot better when you do get down. You know, a lot of times people think, I want to get down to this weight, and then they get there and they don't maybe look how they want to look, which is exactly what happened in this scenario. And the only answer to that is you need more muscle. You need to change your body composition more, which means building some muscle, which is a long, slow process. You know, like you really would need to go into that mindset for a year.
Yep. And then too, I think a good comparison, like you said, like my first situation was a short term, okay, and then building muscle is more of a long term solution. I think a lot of people get a little bit like shoehorned into thinking I need to just like burn calories to lose weight, and you know, the more exercise I do, the more calories I burn, etc.
It's a losing game right there.
It is. And you know what? Like you can definitely lose weight like that. I'm not saying you can't. However, a lot of times what happens is you get to a point where you're like, damn, like I hit my goal weight and I just don't look how I want. And it's because maybe you lost some muscle or you didn't gain any muscle in the process.
You feel like garbage.
So really, the alternative is like put on that muscle and just have it be a long game, because that's what this is. You know, we're not doing, you know, training and eating well so that I can look good tomorrow. Like we want to train and eat well so that, you know, when we're 80 years old, like we're still kicking it and playing ultimate frisbee or whatever, playing with your great grandkids. So just shifting that mindset, like, you know, over the next year, I'm just going to get strong. And you know what? The reason I'm doing this is so I can build some muscle. And then you know what? I'll probably be even leaner next time I diet down.
Yeah. And that's what would happen. You would say go and you would focus on that, and you might gain 10 pounds, in the next year. And then you shift your focus and diet back down and get back down to 116, and next thing you know, you look way different than a year before when you were at 116. You know, the stomach's tighter and stuff, and like that's like that would be the plan. And Ben's kind of a more recent example. Like, you know, Ben, when you started out as a client at Coastal, you were kind of like that skinny fat, right? Like you never really worked out before. Like the only sport you played was frisbee golf. Yep. And you kind of had like the little flabby midsection and skinny arms. But your focus when you first joined was you were just doing the workout and just eating, and you gained weight, right? Like 20 pounds.
Well, actually, I mean, like numbers wise, I was at 155 when I started. I got up to 190. So I that was, I ate everything in sight. But in the process of building muscle, so I may have even gained fat, gained muscle. I gained all of that as I went. But as I cleaned up my eating, I actually dropped 15 pounds.
And then you're jacked and ripped. And the thing is, if you didn't have that initial stage and you just started dieting right from the beginning, you would not have ended up. You may have lost weight and got that short-term satisfaction and been thinking, oh, I'm losing weight, but you would not have ended up long-term where you are now. You know?
No way.
So,
not even close. Yeah.
Now a major factor in this is that people have to understand is you were a guy in your mid-20s. You know, So your process was like that's almost best case scenario, right? So then when you're talking about a woman, past 50 and who has had a lot of, going through the cancer and all that, like you just have to understand how much more difficult it's going to be, But the path is the same. Like that's what you want to do.
I mean, the losing calorie game where you're like, oh, I burned 450 calories this workout, so I can go have a cupcake for that whole game. It really does always end in that burnout and that not feeling very good at all. The number one thing that burns calories is your body resting, trying to feed the muscle that you have, the lean body mass that you have. So you spending time building that, cultivating it, and doing it in such a way that's fun, keeps your interest, that you're not always tired or always hungry or always this or that, but just fostering that lean body mass. You're in the long run, you're setting yourself up for the most, quote unquote calorie burn that you could ever have.
Yep.
And that's what all those diet programs, all those all the super, HIIT workouts, that's what they all miss the boat on, is that having more muscle is the true, game winning play.
Yep. Because you know what? And you can look at, people that do figure, and actually, I think there's more affects women that do figure competitions and stuff. They diet down,
so yeah,
and they go back to normal, and then they diet down, and then for the most part, the traditional way people do it, it's just calorie restriction, overload with cardio, and what happens is the amount of calories you have to drop to get to your goal weight for your competition or whatever usually will keep getting lower. So maybe you get down to 1,200 for your first one, and you're just maintaining 1,200, and that's what it takes to get you your leanest. Well, next year that you do it, because your body adapts, it might be 1,100.
Yeah, and that's because you lose muscle.
It might be 1,000. Yeah, you're losing muscle, and your body is just your body will adapt. Yep. It adapts to that low amount of calories, and so then you basically dig yourself into a hole, and you have to reverse diet your way out, which is basically just trying to slowly eat more and more and more and more, until you get that calorie number up high, and that's really, it's a crappy process. So rather than do that, build up your muscle as much as you can so that your body's demanding all that fuel, and then when you are dieting down, you're not having to eat 900 calories in order to lose weight. You're at a more comfortable, more manageable food amount.
Yep. And that actually leads perfectly into another great question we had, which is along the same lines and really similar. With recent success, I'm having a hard time with the thought of reaching a plateau when there are still strides to be made. Any thoughts on being comfortable with your body taking a pause? How long do people typically stay in this state, and do you break out of it and continue to progress? Now, and again, you can almost hear it in the question. The biggest issue is that this person, and what most people is, people are very uncomfortable with not, when they're not losing weight or not feeling like they have some kind of needle to move, And in this situation, it's the exact same. It's you have to plateau. That's a chance for you to rest, maybe to build some muscle, to eat more food and not be starving all the time, to take a break. And it's essential, it's I wish we could pull up a little chart for people to see, and with a little arrow going down, and then a little plateau, but then another arrow going down, and then maybe up a little, and then eventually down. Over time you'll get to where you want, but it's just not going to happen in a linear fashion. No one has a straight, completely down arrow. And if they do, those are the ones who rebound up and eventually end up gaining it all back. The whole Biggest Loser effect. So, that's because you just also lost a ton of muscle because you went so hard and just had a horrible rebound. So, you just have to get comfortable with the process,
Yep. And then remembering too, so people get so focused on, I think the question kind of reflects this, on the fact that you always have to be losing weight. The goal of everybody should be to get to a place where they're comfortable, they're healthy, and they feel good. right? That should be the goal. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that I should always be losing weight phase rather than having their goal be, I want to get to this, a point where I feel good, I feel strong, I feel healthy, I feel confident, and like as a goal to maintain that, rather than always like, oh, I have to always be getting leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner. And if that's your goal, then you will never, ever, ever be satisfied.
Yep.
Like the goal should be maintenance. You should be able to find a place that you can, kind of stay around for your whole life rather than always chasing that carrot of losing weight when that kind of leads down, a rabbit hole of itself.
And you're going to eventually have to face what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid dealing with quote unquote plateauing, maintenance, but ultimately like, okay, well, you say you do eventually get to that place where you want to be. Well, okay, well then you're going to have to deal with mentally staying the same and for the rest of your life,
Yep.
like for decades of maintenance. Like, so you might as well address it when it first happens and be okay with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard for people though, because it literally, it's less of a tangible goal in terms of like, yeah, when you're losing weight, you can see the scale moving, things fit better. But when you're in maintenance, there's no, I used it before, but there's no carrot to chase.
Yeah.
It's just so it's a lot harder for people, and I think that people, it's almost like comfort. They find that comfort in losing weight. That process is still going, and so they're happy. And then when they don't have that, eventually, they're scared. What if I'm not happy? And I think it's just uncomfortable for people.
Yeah, and you have to do it for you ultimately. Like I remember when I first started working out, and I was scrawny little punk, and someone will say, oh, like they'll see your biceps poking through, and have you been working out? Like it's looking good. And it's the same thing. You're losing weight in the beginning. You lose 20 pounds. Everyone notices. Pat on the back. I wish I could do that. And it's all that, right? Like people get really attached to all of that, and then when you plateau, like people don't notice as much, or say then you become the lean fit person, and that's what's expected of you. It's a lot. It's tough to deal with, So I want people to understand that too. We're not saying like you shouldn't feel this way. Like you 100% should feel this way. Like we've all been there. But what we're trying to say is at some point you have to address that that you're okay with these feelings, So. And again, like circling back around to the question in the last part is how long till you continue to progress, And really, it's just different for everyone. It depends on, well, are you a few pounds away, or still got 20 pounds? It ultimately just comes down to addressing something in your nutrition or your sleep, and then moving forward from there. But again, sometimes a break is needed. So yeah, that's why having a coach is great, because essentially you should just lay it all on them. And if you listen to our last episode of Andrew, the key in that is like the coach has no bias. Like they're not feeling these things. They have 100% invested interest in you succeeding. So like they're gonna tell you what they think is the best thing for you to do to succeed. Whereas you're going through all these mental barriers and emotions and that's like you don't want to make decisions based on those things, So that's why it's great to have a coach to help you make a decision.
Yep. Because a coach is going to tell you, and it's not always the easiest thing to hear, but they're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yep.
And that's tough, but it's just that's what any coach is paid for. Like if we just told people what they wanted to hear, then it's not worth any money. So. Yeah, remembering that too. It's not always comfortable when you're making change.
Yep. What about you, Ben?
No, that's you guys kind of nailed it. Really nothing to add on this end. Yeah. Actually,
kind of like when I saw you in Austin, and said you're looking a little too monkish. You're looking a little too movement. You skewed too far on the movement chain. You need to start eating and lifting And then I saw a picture of you recently. Someone posted in the gym, and you got the biceps popping off.
You know, actually, yeah, I will say that. Yeah, it actually, like you said, you zoom in on one of those charts where you see like over 6 months I've lost X amount of weight. Zoom in on that, week to week, and you're gonna see this huge up and down. And I was actually talking to somebody about it today. That up and down that's real life. Nothing in life is stable. Like stability or like the linear, it's an illusion if you see it that way. You zoom in, you're gonna see the ups and downs. You're gonna see sometimes where you could just eat an elephant and you could eat a horse. You know what I mean? Like nothing ever satisfies, and you still lose. Other times you had one cupcake and you are over the top. The scale, the way you feel in your body is showing, all this negative. Like I'm moving in the wrong direction. Really embracing the up and down instead. Embracing the fact that sometimes you're just not training as intensely, and your body is just holding on to weight. It seems like making those adjustments, and then just be patient. Wait, because you will be on the upswing again. It will always be up and down. So yeah, I mean for that. That few months there, really on that movement train, really no stress on the body is what it turned into. And yeah, I lost a decent amount of weight. I was down to like 167, I think, and it's the lightest I've been in a long time. Got back, I actually changed from 6 days a week to 3 days a week, and plumped right back up. Nice 10 pounds on, and you can see it. It's a part of the ebb and flow. That even the appearance of plateau, it's just an appearance. You're at a crest of the wave of an up or a down. Usually is what that plateau is. Be patient, love what you do, and then watch as your body ebbs and flows out of it. Follow it. It's actually pretty fun to feel. And you gain weight, you feel big, and then you go back down. And enjoy it though, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've experienced it. I've similar to Ben, started out like that skinny, scrawny, and went from like 130 to eventually up to 180, and then settled around like the 160s, and now my weight will fluctuate like 8 pounds. And when I was at 180, I was a little softer, and it was a lot of work to be at that weight. Like the amount of food I had to eat, which I know a lot of people don't want to hear, but and I just didn't feel as athletic, so but that's all part of the journey. And there's days where you feel fatter and all that, and but it's just learning that and then trusting the process. At the end of the day, like if you're committed to, hey, I'm going to be active, I'm going to work out X amount of days a week and walk and eat healthy and be conscious of what I'm eating, like you're going to end up in a good place,
And sometimes it's not visually or weight wise. Sometimes it's not exactly your goal weight. But if you find a balance in life that you enjoy, what exactly are you doing wrong? Like what's exactly the problem? You're as active as you want to be. You make food choices, in the way that you believe is healthy. And when you arrive there, let your body do what it wants to do. Let it manifest in such a way with this body fat percentage and this number on the scale. It ends up being a lot happier. And if you want to make a tweak, you can make a tweak.
Yep. So that's exactly what Andrew talked about in episode 10. Was he even did a physique competition, got as lean and as ripped as possible, and just it was too hard on his lifestyle, and then he realized, and then mentally he was still the same, overweight guy. It didn't change that much. Until he then realized, hey, like I can relax a little for my lifestyle. Yeah, I might not have as sharp of abs or be whatever weight, but I can enjoy life more. And he found that balance, And he also mentioned, like you just said, but that doesn't mean you can't go back to, hey, maybe summer's coming up, I'm going to tighten things up a little and be there for a couple months and then relax and like almost give yourself a range of 8 pounds or so, where it's okay to fluctuate between, It
makes it fun. It does. It should be fun.
It should.
Let me interject. It should be enjoyable.
Like a big stress fest, which it turns into for a lot of people.
I know.
This for you.
It's not, if you're not enjoying it, then it is not worth it, period.
True.
Whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So just know that.
Yeah. And I know for a fact, most people would not enjoy the way I live to be I like to be like a single digit body fat, and then there's a lot that I would not feel like. Most people would be like, I don't want to not drink but a couple times a year and do this stuff and that stuff, and I don't blame them, you know. So it's like, it's okay not. That's what you may find, like your extreme goal, your ending place where you want to be might not actually even really end up being where you want to be, you know. So like Ben said, it's fun to learn that and figure that out for yourself. And ultimately, if you're like working on this lifestyle and you're going to be fit for life, like you'll end up in a good healthy place. And then it's just the fun of figuring out, well, hey, where do I feel best at? Where do I look best at? What works for my lifestyle? And, you know, it's all in a way a game.
Yeah, true.
That game. So with that said, I'll be gaining about 4 pounds tomorrow.
That's it, just 4.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
you don't have grandma's.
Bullshit.
You don't have grandma's
Yeah.
cakes and
Yeah.
cookies. Is the problem.
but we do have we'll have a whole pecan pie. But you know what? Alexis brought a pumpkin pie home from school, like a whole pumpkin pie. You know how that goes. Like people, everyone brings the same thing, and so she brought a whole pumpkin pie home, and I ate it all over the course of, like I want to say 3 nights, so I sound like a little less savage.
Did you
but
just finish it up?
It was 2 nights. It was 2 nights. It was 2 nights. Yeah. So, it again just goes to show, like, we talked about this before, like your environment. Like, dude, I know if I had like whatever would come in my house, like I would eat in that course of the week or whatever,
Agreed. Agreed.
So it's really, dude, the best tip is just like controlling your environment. Like if I had a pumpkin pie every week, like if we bought one and it came home, like I would eat a pumpkin pie every week. Like there's no doubt in my mind. I don't even see the point of trying to sit there and be like, oh, you shouldn't have that pumpkin pie and like try to not have it. Like that's just too much work and effort. Like it's stressful. Whereas like the pumpkin pie's not in the house. Like I don't even think about it. So, but it's okay to have the pumpkin pie from time to time. So,
it is, especially on Thanksgiving when you're with your family. And
if you have
friends.
2 pumpkin pies a year, that's fine. If you have 52 pumpkin pies a year,
we might need to talk.
then
Are you single?
yeah. So, but then it's funny how that works, right? Like when you're single, like you normally want to like be at your best, You're like trying to get back at the ex or like look your best for whoever's next. And then once you get in a relationship, it's like everything goes to the wayside,
Just straight to dad bod.
Pumpkin pie for life.
Pumpkin pie every week.
Pumpkin pie bod.
Yeah. Do you have to have ice cream with your pie?
I don't have nothing with my pie.
Nah, you know
Just
what,
the pie?
man?
I'll take it. I won't say no, but
I'm not a big fan. I'll eat it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but like ice cream with any dessert just makes it not as good.
Dude, like a
Like
scoop of vanilla
What
ice
about
cream
apple
with pie? Like,
Nah, I'd rather just eat
apple
the
or
pie.
cherry? Okay.
Like I would rather have 2 slices of pie than a scoop of ice cream and 1 slice of pie,
Oh, okay. I'm there.
or like a hot brownie with a piece of ice cream.
Yeah. how about
yeah.
Just give me 2. Just give me 2.
Well, that's
brownies.
a sundae, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not
Brownie
an ice cream
sundae.
guy. I know you guys, and especially Gary, loves ice cream. I could never eat it again for the rest of my life and be completely cool.
That hurts.
It's just
I don't want to say that about anything.
like there are some things though where I'm like, damn, like I know I would have trouble if you told me I couldn't ever have
So
it again.
final.
But it's not ice cream.
So final. That is final, Ben. Like now that you think about it,
That is.
that's a lot to ask.
Too young.
Well, with that, we'll get that leaves everyone something to think about.
Yeah.
What could you And side note, that's another whole episode. I think a lot of people think when they start, a healthy lifestyle that they have to give up all these certain things forever, which isn't the case. You don't have to give anything up forever. So that is something to keep in mind. All right, guys. So let's close it out. We have some guests lined up for the next few episodes, so that should be fun. As always, the cast is brought to you by Coastal Strength and Fitness, our gym in Newport News, Virginia.
Yep.
Virginia. And
Bohemia.
yeah, so if you check out the website, we have the links to our coaching if you're interested, or a place to submit questions, all that fun stuff. And we'll be hitting you guys up here in a few weeks, every week. And if you want more, then leave us reviews. The more iTunes reviews we get, it helps us out and it will make us want to do this more often.
Yep. Ben's song of the week.
I got one. Yeah, don't get out of the group here.
See, my habit, you threw me out of the habit.
I know.
We poured one out for Ben last week and did not.
Did you do one?
We did not do one.
Oh, okay.
I thought about it, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. We just missed you too much.
Okay. Well, no, and I've had 2 weeks to marinate over this. I've been going all over the place, but it's Death Cab for Cutie today. We're gonna go back a few years, and we got ourselves a song called "Crooked Teeth." It's a little more summery, but just take it in. Take it in. Anything from this time frame for Death Cab for Cutie, you will not be disappointed at all. You can this album, the album before, album after. It's got this sound. You can just play song after song after song, listen to the whole thing in the background, or dive deep into the lyrics.
We're gonna dive deep.
Oh, dive as deep as you want.
This was one of their radio songs, right? Was this? This was a pretty mainstream song.
There were so many, like as far as like that would show like pop up on a radio station, then it would disappear. They had so many. This was when they were on the radio the most, though. During their Plans album, they had a bunch of singles from Plans that made it on there. But yeah, that's a good one.
How many pounds is? I'm looking at this picture here. Change the subject of you spotting Alan Dawkins.
Yeah.
What's he throwing up there?
Oh, what did he hit
on
today?
His dumbbell press?
It was actually freaking awesome. This is 4:30 a.m., boys and girls. All right, so just so you know context, he walks in a little bit tired. We're doing incline dumbbell press, so it's something that we put on our whiteboards to kind of document our progress and to shoot for it. He hit. Oh, he's gonna yell at me if I get this wrong. Let me think here. I believe it was 85 pounds. Yes, it was 85 pounds. He had He only hit 5 reps last time. He came in a little tired. We built up to it, and then dude almost hits 11 reps. He hit 10 reps. Almost hits 11. He just kept going. Rep after rep, looked good. I was, okay, when's he going to get close to failure? He just kept pushing.
Nice.
And then Kim, you see Kim's little cheerleader?
Yeah.
This is 4:30 in the morning. How are you? Oh, man, I love those guys. They're freaking crazy.
Bunch of lunatics.
Oh, they're crazy.
All right, Fit for Life listeners, we're out.
Later.
Mwah.